Oh, hello there. Today I'm going to tell an interesting tale about a man in the medieval times. His name is Thomas Becket. Born smart, noble-hearted, and also a monk, he knew right away that he would devote his life to God. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Becket was born in London to a wealthy merchant for his father. Unlike the average medieval childhood, Becket's was very luxurious. After attending private school for 5 years, Becket was sent to Theobald, the Archbishop of Canterbury, for an apprenticeship. Theobald worked hard day after day, teaching young Becket about the world and the Bible. After a couple years in Becket's apprenticeship, he was noticed by King Henry II. The king had sent Becket a letter requesting his presence in the royal castle. As soon as the two met, they became best of friends. For years, Henry and Becket fought in unity to keep the royal land free from evil and full of the glory of God. All was well. Until Archbishop Theobald died suddenly.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
Okay, let's get back to the storyline. After the dramatic death of Theobald, Henry II had some revolutionary ideas. Or so he thought. Henry decided he could control and monitor the laws of the church if he placed his friend in such a high position in the clergy. So as planned, Becket was appointed the position Archbishop of Canterbury. Oh look, there he is now. Say hi, Becket.
My name is Thomas Becket. I am so delighted to be appointed Archbishop of Canterbury.
Oh, okay, goodbye then. Well, things did not go as planned for Henry. Becket started pondering his own ideas instead of listening to his friend as he had in the past years. Becket kept obeying the king for a good bit of time until one topic let chaos in. Benefit of the clergy. Benefit of the clergy was a phrase that simply meant, "You cannot arrest me for murder and adultery. I am a servant of the church." Obviously, crime is crime, and today you wouldn't get away with even dreaming of such things. Sadly, it was very overused, and some people became bishops just to hide from the law. King Henry II hated this law and wanted it removed for good. Becket, on the other hand, didn't think it was a threat. When Henry heard of Becket's view on the subject, he went outrageous, not only because of this debate, but because of the fact that he was realizing Becket was no longer his puppet in politics. As soon as Becket heard the rage of his old friend, he fled to London. Luckily for Becket, he found a church that was willing to shelter him for a small fee. A fee which grew to a massive size 6 years later, which was the time it took King Henry to calm down. On Christmas Day, a month or so after Becket returned, his anger rose while preaching at a cathedral, which caused the excommunication of 4 of his fellow bishops. When Henry heard of Becket's outrage, he screamed, "Will no one rid me of this turbulent priest?" Henry's knights, they weren't exactly brave and strong, manly figures you probably imagine in fairy tales. They were stupid, grotesque, and quick to action. When they heard Henry shout his famous line from the seat of his throne, the knights of the realm took off to Canterbury immediately to rain death on Becket.
Hello again. It is I, Thomas Becket. I came here ahead of time before my wonderful editor edited this part to warn you. This next part has some delf in it, nothing above PG-13, just a bit of cartoon drawings of me getting killed. I will try to ask the editor to keep it down. Okay, bye-bye.
5 days later, the knights arrived at the location of the high altar. They busted in the door and ran inside. Once they spotted Becket, one of the knights bashed him on the shoulder with his club. Before another second went by, the knights, big and dumb as they were, went crazy and whacked him down until they split his skull in half. Henry, although ranting about Becket in a horrific way, didn't actually want his friend injured, let alone killed. Henry was traumatized when he discovered this disturbing news and blamed himself for the death of his closest friend. He starved himself for 3 days and walked around his kingdom with his servants, whacking him with sharp palm branches and small sticks. Even with his quirks, Thomas Becket was a very godly man. He had a spirit that wanted to serve God. After his death, people built a wondrous shrine and hailed him as a martyr. Becket's work to keep Henry's kingdom pure had an incredible effect in history. But rejoice, Becket's in heaven now.